Knights of Bohemia, are you ready? Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to another Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD online battle. Today we have a Kingdom Come Deliverance scenario with over 10,000 soldiers as the forces of Bohemia and the Holy Roman Empire go up against Cummans and obviously the forces of Hungary. So if you guys don't know, Kingdom Come Deliverance comes out tomorrow, and if you've never heard of that game, it is basically a open world RPG game set in obviously the 15th century Bohemia. And it's just an amazing game. Without like saying too much or anything before my Let's Play comes out tomorrow, the game is a true testament to old school RPGs, and because they've got such a heavy focus on historical stuff like the castles and the sword play and everything is just great. So make sure to keep an eye on the channel tomorrow. I think my first episode is going to be going up when the game comes out around 8 AM, so it's an early start, but it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to be uploading the second part later that day. So if you're looking forward to it, make sure to check the channel out tomorrow, as the episodes are going to be going up, and I'm going to be uploading it every single day for the foreseeable future, because I'm just having so much fun with it. I can't wait to share more of my content on that game with you guys. So a little bit of history quickly before we do dive into this battle, because you know there is a little bit of lore behind it. So the game is set in 15th century Bohemia. The king of the Holy Roman Empire and the king of Bohemia has just died, Charles V, I believe. And again, some of this might be wrong, but hopefully I'll give you a general idea. So Charles V has just died. His brother Wenceslas, I think is how you pronounce it, probably not, has taken over. However, he is a bit of a drunkard. He likes to pursue some comely wenches and other glorious pleasures of life which are forbidden by the church. So the lords aren't too happy with him, and they've kind of implored the king of Hungary, which is the king of Bohemia's brother, to come and try and, you know, maybe get his power over the kingdom of Bohemia. So he actually abducted King Wenceslas of Bohemia and tried to force him to abdicate. And he's going to be doing that with an army of Hungarians and also Cuman mercenaries, which are going to be helping and have settled in Hungary after running away from the Huns. So the King Sigismund of Hungary has poured his way into Bohemia, raiding and pillaging, abducting the king of Bohemia, and the forces of Bohemia are going to stand. And that's kind of like the history in Kingdom Come Deliverance. That's kind of where the game kind of starts off, with the King Sigismund of Hungary invading Bohemia, trying to kind of take the crown for himself, but pretending that he's trying to keep peace for his brother. Is a very, very cool start to the game, and hopefully that'll make for a very, very interesting episode. So if we take a look at the armies really quickly, I'm just going to run through this talking about it. We have a 2v2 on the go. Hungary and obviously the Cummans, which are going to be this force we're currently looking at, the force I'm playing as in the battle. On the front line, we have some of these spear sergeants of the early period. This is basically just to protect our missile force. As we go further back, we have some archers of the high period, so some decent armor, and they're going to be supported by my bay archers of Cummans. Obviously, the Cummans known for their quality of horse archers, even though they are quite savage. Then, as we go back, we have some heavy macemen. These guys are heavily armoured and ready to do battle. You can see they've got a lot of gear, maces, which are going to be able to smash through the heavy army of the Bohemians and the Holy Roman Empire. We then have the Line of Hungary, some of these warriors right here. Again, nothing to write home about, but these are going to be hard quality men who will hold the line. Then as we continue to go back, we have some of my warriors, which are going to be making up the next line. And then finally, we have the last reserve of sergeants from the Hungarian forces. These guys are really good, and they will do a lot of damage to the enemy when it does come to it. Then for our cavalry force, we obviously have the Hungarian king back here. Over on the right flank, we do actually have some more spearmen and infantry, along with some of the Hungarian Knights. And the Hungarian Knights just look beautiful, they really do. Just such high quality work put into this mod. It looks amazing. And then obviously on the left flank, we have some of my Cuman Lancers and obviously some more Hungarian Knights as well. You can see the Cumans pushing forward. Then if we take a look at the forces of Bohemia and the Holy Roman Empire, we can see on their front line, instead of bowmen, they've gone with crossbowmen. These guys are going to be much better at piercing the armor of the enemy. They then have a smaller contingent of archers back here. The archers are going to be backed up by some of these Pavese soldiers, obviously with that huge Pavese shield and of the late period as well. So they have a lot of heavy armor, and they're just going to be able to tank a lot of damage. We then have some macemen from the forces of Bohemia that's going to be making up their front line. We also have some more spearmen over on this other flank as well, along with the Bohemian King has pushed up here, as well as his Bohemian Knights as well. Again, just looking so good. Knights, there's just something about them which looks great. We also have some more Pavis of the High Period over on this right flank to help support the cavalry engagement. We then, as we continue to go back, we do have the forces of the Holy Roman Empire, I believe. Yeah, the Holy Roman Empire are back here with some of their sword infantry, again with them awesome looking shields. Not as heavily armoured, maybe as the Hungarian forces, but they'll definitely do their decent job at just kind of holding that line and allowing their cavalry, because I think the main strength of the Holy Roman Empire does come in their heavy knights. They also have some really good polearms as well with these weapons right there. And then obviously on the left flank as well, they have a huge contingent of Imperial Ritter, is how you pronounce that. And these guys are going to be the staying power of the Holy Roman Empire. I mean, just look at them. If we just go down that battle line really quickly, you guys can see the sheer strength of this battle line. And these knights are going to run down. If they come against some lightly armoured troops, they're going to run them through. So in this battle, we really wanted to make just one big engagement. So both the players have decided to stick their entire forces together to try and make for a more interesting engagement. And I think that's a really nice way of doing these battles. Forming up battle lines so that you have kind of a mix of Hungarian and Cuman soldiers in one army, and Holy Roman Empire and Bohemian in the other army. So let's just jump straight into a battle. We'll go ahead and click play and see how this one kicks off. So we're going to initiate the battle by throwing up our missile line. We saw that they did have a large amount of crossbowmen, so we're going to be trying to abuse that with our archer force. Thankfully, my Hungarian ally is pushing forward with his spearmen just to protect us from any missile fire. And you can see our archer fire coming in. I mean, it's going to be hard to kill these guys because they are Pavis. They have huge shields, which will give them protection. But the arrow fire should start chipping away, and obviously this is free damage right now because they can't really do anything about this whatsoever. You know, they just have to sit here and take this arrow fire unless they want to move forward. And some of the arrows will start to tick up and do some damage, you know, find their way through the armor. The enemy also went ahead and got a really nice charge off on our horse archer unit we had up here, with a nice little unit of mercenaries right there, which got some good charge off there. I then pushed in my lancers to scare off the Bohemian Knights, and Bohemian Knights are going to pull back. I'm more than happy to take on these knights because they're not the they're not the Holy Roman Empire forces. The Holy Roman Empire cavalry scares me, but the Bohemian Knights I can probably take on with our superior force. So we've gone very heavy on this left flank. You can see how much cavalry we have situated over here, and a real nice position of spearmen as well to help out. Spearmen obviously going to be providing a much needed support. And again, these guys look really cool as well, the Cuman spearmen. I believe the Cuman roster is very much going to be getting an addition in future patches as well for Medieval Kingdoms 1212. God, the Hungarian Knights, man, are just such a spectacular unit. So they're going to be making a shift over to this left flank to come and support us. You know, with this and my lancers and the spearmen we have situated right there, I feel like we have a very nice dominance lock on this battlefield. The spearmen have been pushed up a little bit along with the crossbowmen, so the crossbowmen are now in range right now. The Pavis are using their testudo to protect themselves from missile fire, so any stray arrows are just going to be glancing off the huge shields of the Pavis. You can see a few of the arrows kind of finding their mark onto the shields, but obviously not piercing it whatsoever. At the moment, the skirmish phase is still carrying on, both sides not giving an inch. However, I am soon going to find myself bored of this skirmish phase, realizing that we probably have the superior infantry and we need to kind of use that advantage as best as we can, because as soon as the enemy start kind of winning that cavalry engagement, we're going to be in hot water. I say that though, the Holy Roman Empire cavalry is really good, but so are the Hungarian cavalry. The Hungarian Knights are very good. Nice little kind of alliance here of Hungarian and Cuman archers and Hungarian crossbowmen firing out upon the opponent. They're obviously taking a nice amount of engagement, and the spearmen are going to be pushed up as well as we get a nice little feint of cavalry. And here you can see the Holy Roman Empire are deciding that they want to move their cavalry over to this right flank to match ours, which maybe we should have taken advantage of in this battle. They're going to be pushing over their cavalry right over to the right flank. You can see it moving currently. And they're going to try and overload that right flank because, as you can see, the side of the battle is kind of here, making it very hard. They're going to leave one unit here, which is not a bad idea. That's going to allow them to, harass the enemy a little bit. And here we have it. The army is moving forward. We have given the attack order for both my Cuman and Hungarian troops to push forward. We're marching, though. No need to overcommit or anything. We're just going to simply march towards the enemy, shields up, raring to go in this battle. I can't wait for the melee to kick off because one of the real cool advantages, I guess, of this is that we go ahead and get reserve lines. And having reserve lines is always really cool in battles like this. The Bohemian Knights are going to get a nice little charge off into our archers. However, I made sure I bought the most expensive Cuman archers. And one of the really, really cool things about medieval kingdoms is archers aren't just a throwaway unit. Cavalry doesn't just trample over expensive archers. The archers are expensive for a reason. They don't get better missile damage, but they get better armor, melee attack, health, staying power. So you're actually paying for this extra armor instead of a better bow because, the bow doesn't really give you that much more range on your bow. That you can't shoot it like a different arrow much of the time. So you're paying for that extra armor and you're paying for that extra staying power on the battlefield. So, paying for these expensive archers, you're not just paying them to win the missile engagement. Obviously, that helps because you don't take as much damage from arrow fire. But you're paying for that, ability to then throw them into combat and actually help, have them hold the line for a little bit. So we did throw up a nice little kind of, I guess, skirmish wave of these spearmen right here, and they're going to go ahead and be pushed back, and then we're actually going to force the Bohemian Knights forward, or the Bohemian Macemen forward, which is a great kind of, I guess, disorder on the enemy formation. These Macemen have killed these spearmen, and now they see blood, and they're charging forward, which is good news for us. However, what the hell is going on here? I must have messed up, because this is my fault right here. I'm hoping, oh, I didn't even turn them around. Wow, what an idiot I am right here. My Macemen are facing the wrong way, and this is not going to bode well. As that guy just charges in, the battle lines clash, the shields hitting into one another, and unfortunately my Macemen are facing the wrong way. No wonder that unit went ahead and died. The rest of the battle line, though, is fully kicking off. Both sides just going ham on one another. The Bohemian Macemen and my Cuman infantry. I've got a large amount of reserves, though, still coming up into the battlefield, which again is just why this battle is so awesome. The battle lines have clashed, but we've still got so many more units to commit to the fight. I'm trying my best to get as many of my archers to focus down the polearms because these halberds are extremely deadly force. They're expensive and they can do so much damage. They're almost impenetrable from the front lines. So taking these guys out of missile fire is going to be my #1 goal with my Cuman archers. And thankfully as well, because we do have the archer advantage, we can put down some pretty crazy pressure onto the enemy battle line without having to really take too much damage because we can just outrange their missiles as well. And obviously the polearms as well don't have shields to protect themselves from missile fire, so we can literally just open up on them and give them no quarter and no mercy. So let's go back up to normal speed now. We'll play the battle at full speed. I think we're going to be getting a nice little cavalry engagement going off here. Yeah, both the cavalry. Look at this as well. We have all the cavalry pushing sideways, trying to kind of psych each other out, because this is going to be a pretty interesting engagement. The enemy are bringing over more swordsmen, but both the spears have also engaged, which is a really interesting thing because obviously spears will really turn the tide of any cavalry engagement. So we tried to both parties tried to use their spearmen to engage the other person's spearmen whilst also trying to keep other infantry alive. And luckily my ally has brought over some swordsmen to help out with this. I'm also bringing over my general. And they're deciding that they want to push forward with their Imperial Ritter, which is going to be a very, very potent force. These knights are going to be moving out very, very soon as the battle lines continue to clash. I believe more Bohemians have now made their way to the engagement. They've even got their Pavis up here, which my Macemen are trying their hardest to break through and destroy the front line, but it's not an easy task whatsoever. If you guys as well want to see more kind of medieval 12-12 on the channel, especially with Kingdom Come coming out right round the corner, do let me know and I'll be more than happy. Maybe I'll even get a good siege, like a medieval siege on the go. That would be a ton of fun. So do just let me know if that's something you guys want to see, and I'll be sure to do it. So the battle is still going on as the cavalry fight. Okay, the cavalry fight is still raring to go. I believe they brought over, yeah, the Bohemians have done a smart move right here and brought over some more spearmen to help out in this engagement. The Holy Roman Empire Ritter are pushing up, and I'm trying to push back my lancers. However, it's not looking too great for me, and I feel like we are about to get charged down by the Holy Roman Empire cavalry. And I kind of noticed way too late. I do give the order to turn around and charge, but the Ritter are going to catch me down, and that's not going to be a great little charge right there. You can see right here, I'm turning around my lancers, looking to get myself engaged here. Rest of my cavalry moving around. We also have both the Hungarian and the Bohemian Knights going into one another. The lancers clashing, and I know I'm not going to win this cavalry engagement. The Ritter are way too heavily armoured for my lancers. My lancers have very much the shock value, but nothing too much. I'm heavily relying on the late period Hungarian Knights to win, because the Hungarian Knights are something else. I mean, just look at them. They've got maces, so they've got some good armor piercing damage, and they've also got that heavy armor. I believe the actual general for Bohemia is currently in this engagement as well, and he's losing them pretty quickly. So it's going to be a bad spot for him if he's not careful. More of a cavalry fighting. These are my Cummans, and you know, my Cummans are meant for more speed rather than anything else. They also have some really high quality horse archers, which is my general unit. This is my Cumman general right here, and they're going to be picking off. They're shooting into friendly cavalry right there. However, we're shooting in the backs of the Holy Roman Empire cavalry, and I think that's going to be completely worth it. We're using heavy shot, and we're just shooting away, because you can see my cavalry is getting slaughtered right now. They honestly do not stand a chance. We also have some extra mercenary horsemen from Hungary as well, with their bows as well, trying to pierce away. So if we go back to the infantry engagement, we can see the left flank, we've got some more support here with some sergeants of the high period, and it's really when these sergeants start to make their way into the battle is when we're going to start excelling, because the sergeants are just such a high quality infantry unit. The battle lines are an absolute mess right now. I mean, just looking down that, you can see some pretty crazy stuff. I don't think either side is really taking the advantage. You can see balance of power is very even. We outnumber the Bohemians. However, just because we outnumber them doesn't mean we have the quality advantage. And obviously the Bohemians have a lot more pavese, like some really elite spearmen, which will just hold that line and keep the sturdy formation going, because they are just such a tanky unit. It's going to be very hard. Like the pavese are very good for the center of your line, just to have a thick line of pavese soldiers who will just keep that that line alive, whilst your swordsmen around the flanks really start to do the damage. We have actually made a dent though in the Bohemian battle line. If we zoom out right now, we can really see that we've actually managed to clear out this central flank, managing to push back some of the macemen of Bohemia, and a few of their units are starting to rout, where then pavese from the Holy Roman Empire are just still holding. This is going to open up a gap. It is going to force them to commit some more of their halberds into the battle. I mean, they have another line as well of infantry. But it's going to open up a nice little gap for us, and you can see I'm taking full advantage of this by wrapping around a unit of my warriors, my sword infantry, just to try and surround these pavese and, you know, try and cut them down and open up this gap as quickly as I physically can. I'm also pushing around to this left flank as well, but you can see I'm currently getting shot into the side of by their crossbowmen, which isn't a healthy situation for me. We're also trying to push forward. We even have like a decent line of reserves as well left to commit, and so obviously do the Bohemians as well. My Cumman macemen are trying to break off this battle line, and then the pavese are just ready, waiting for them to come at them. They really are just holding that line, preparing for the battle to get kicked off. But more and more of my infantry are finding gaps in this line. You know, one of the disadvantages of having your pavese as long as this is that you definitely give up the opportunity for your battle lines to hold the enemy back. If I want to, I can pull through this battle line, and it's not going to be too damaging to my front line to actually do that either. So it's a great advantage that if I wanted to, I can break through this battle line, because it's only like 2 ranks deep, and I can just run through it, you know, find the gaps in the shield wall and keep on pushing. The macemen are going ham at one another, and if we look at the battle lines, we can see that the center is starting to break. However, the balance power is still very even, and the Bohemians and the Holy Roman Empire can still throw up their entire last reserve line into the battle. They're also, I think, heavily winning on this left flank as well. Their spearmen seem to be dominating this battlefield. The cavalry fight is still raging on, as we do have both sides really going at one another. Obviously, when we do have both these knights being as heavily armed as they are, the Holy Roman Empire cavalry really showing their worth against my Cummans. My Cummans just aren't capable of dealing with them whatsoever. I imagine they probably will be in the newest patch of this mod when it does come out. But until then, I honestly think it's, you know, the Cummans just don't have the staying power with their lancers. As the Holy Roman Empire are a somewhat newer faction, I think, to be added to the game. And there we have it. I believe a Bohemian general has now been killed by the forces of the Hungarian Knights. I mean, look at them. Barely even touched. They're just so goddamn awesome. And they've managed to slay them off, obviously, in wedge formation. The Hungarian king, I think that is, actually on the front lines right there. Not a bad formation whatsoever, and obviously you can see a little bit of a glitch going off right there. So there are still a few Holy Roman Empire Knights left remaining on the battlefield, still trying their best to fight against the Hungarians. However, now that that general unit has been slain off, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of this cavalry making its way over to this left flank once again and trying to support the already engaged Hungarian Knights. Yeah, if we press K and go back to it, you can see that these guys are very much going down. My Cuman warriors are trying to hold them. The archers are definitely racking up a lot of kills. If we go to my general, we can see our general's racked up, you know, almost 70 kills, and that's just against knights as well. So you got to kind of take that into consideration. But there's only ever like 70 units in a cavalry unit, I believe. Yeah, well, 60 units in a cavalry unit. So he's killed an entire cavalry unit just with his bow without getting engaged. And just because he's a horse archer unit doesn't mean he's going to be awful in melee combat either. So you can hear that some of our units are starting to break now. A massive frontline break has just happened on my side as the fighting just devolves into a mess. So my tired men, they're exhausted, you know, and energy does play a role in this mod as well. You know, my men have been fighting since the beginning of the game, at least my front line has, and they're just exhausted. So we're going to see them just breaking and running away from the field of battle because they just don't have any energy left. They can't even raise their swords. More of the archers pushing forward. So this is what I'm trying to use. I'm trying to use my archers as infantry now. Because again, these guys are like decent. You know, they're maybe not the most proficient in hand-to-hand. But I bought the most expensive archers because I wanted to throw them into melee combat and get them to do some damage. Which is something they can definitely do. Because they have the armor. And, you know, like in this mod as well, something I should say is, you know, like, armor plays a big role, and if like a unit of if 10,000 peasants come up against 100 knights, the peasants are going to barely be able to pierce the armor, and they're not going to do any damage. So having armor really does play a big difference in this mod. As the battle line continues just to go on, I mean, that's something pretty cool. Balance of power is starting to shift in our favour now. It does look like the Hungarian forces are going to come out on top. The Pavis, as I said, look how little the Pavis in this entire battle have lost 14 men. I think they weren't engaged the entire time, but even still, I guess these ones were. Yeah, maybe this unit right here was. They've lost like 20 men. It just goes to show, you know, like these heavy spearmen are forces, you know, which can just keep that line sturdy and not take much damage. They're not going to do much damage. You know, they're not going to be taking on and killing hundreds and hundreds of people. But that's not really their role. Their role is just to keep that front line sturdy like a brick wall. And we're going to be coming over here, some archer fire. The cavalry, after winning that cavalry engagement, is going to push around the left flank. And as you can see, we have quite a few knights still left remaining. We've got my general right here shooting off on the Pavis of the high period. The battle line has now really been ripped up in the center. We've definitely used this center advantage just to wrap around on both flanks. And here you can see the archer fire coming in, just trying to do as much damage to these guys as physically possible. The archers are coming in here though, trying to harass our cavalry. I mean, I believe I'm going to throw my general in because he's actually almost out of ammunition as well. Up to 108 kills. That is not bad. I'm impressed with how well my horse archer general has done. I guess because he was left alone and he could just shoot away at the enemy. And here you can see we are starting to rout the opponents. We are starting to break. But still, that Pavis is just holding and holding. The right flank has been completely crushed though by the Hungarian forces. You can see us simply marching on to victory now, pushing forward. I mean, my men are exhausted. They have no energy left whatsoever. But the battle is almost over, and we just need to push on. There's actually a roaming soldier trying to flee from the field of battle, getting caught. I assume he's going to get cut down as he does try to flee, as more and more of my macemen do make their way across the battlefield just to finish this up. This unit of Pavis is completely surrounded, and as they flee, they will get cut down. The cavalry is simply going to run down what remains of the enemy infantry. You can see our generals pushing up, just cutting, whatever's left. And the battle, ended up being quite a solid victory for our forces, considering how even it was for so long. We still have 2,900 soldiers left. Like, that's a decent amount of troops still left on the field of battle. And there we go. A victory for King Sigismund and the Cuman army. So if we look at the kills, we can see I'm so impressed by my general. 192 kills, really good. I spent a lot of money on my lancers, and they were just no match for the Holy Roman Empire cavalry. It doesn't look like they got a lot of kills, but that's a decent amount for cavalry who was just fighting cavalry. And unfortunately, the Hungarian Knights ripped them apart. The rest of my infantry, my archers, were my strongest force, and they did what I paid them to do. I bought the most expensive archers, I got them to shoot off their arrows, and then I threw them into melee combat. And my macemen did okay as well, so nothing to complain about. The enemy, obviously, the Hungarians, I should say, their knights being the real MVPs. They did actually only take 3 units of Hungarian Knights, but we still managed to win that cavalry engagement, which was actually pretty impressive considering how poor my cavalry did. And obviously the sergeants of the high period doing a decent job as well. Taking a look over at the Bohemian forces, we can see their crossbows and their macemen were the real strong kind of opponent we had to face in that battle. And the halberdiers as well, unfortunately didn't really get much work done. We did try and focus them down with our archers and a few of the Bohemian Knights as well. Doing okay. Then taking a look at the Holy Roman Empire forces, again their archers doing a good job, and obviously their Pavis as well. I say Pavis don't get a lot of kills, but this one got 183, this one 78, so I guess they were maybe probably focused against my more tired, exhausted units. So there we have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, please make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Also be sure to check out the channel tomorrow, 8 AM GMT. My first part of my Kingdom Come Deliverance Let's Play will be up, either 8 AM or 10 AM. I'm not sure when to upload it because I feel like 8 AM is quite early. And I'm not sure if you guys will, that would be like hit everyone's sub boxes correctly. Hopefully it will do. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. But either 8 AM or 10 AM. Maybe if I upload it at 8 AM, some people can watch it before school maybe. I don't know. I'll have a good think about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Just to let me know. I might even put a poll out on my community tab on YouTube. But anyway, make sure to like and a comment if you're excited for Kingdom Come Deliverance. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow in my Kingdom Come Deliverance Let's Play. And fish out.